I shouldn't be putting myself in that kind of position. And if I do, the outcome is what the outcome is. I know what the outcome is going to be. They're going to lock my ass up. It's real simple, right? But here you out doing things that compromise your safety, right? And the safety of others who you're responsible for. It's time to shut that down. See, you can keep looking at things that are happening, from the president's perspective, but you have to also look at how many lives get saved when we shut all this down. When we eradicate our communities of this disease, of the murders, rampages that happen over and over again. We never asked the young boys why they carrying firearms, why they carrying knives. You never asked them that, right? Nobody cares about that. There's nothing for our youth. There's nothing for our youth in the community, right? There's nothing. Because we didn't stop the bleed. We put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound back in the 60s and the 70s, right? When we begin to see signs of a development, right, of organized crime, thuggery, right? So let's not get the mob confused with just pure thuggery, right? Because the shift happened, and we all saw it happen with the influx of powder cocaine back in 1980, 81 into South Central LA, and like fire in a gasoline tank, it spread all the way to Europe in no time. We saw the change happen. They knew the change was happening. We saw it happening in the community because now everybody had money, everybody had bling. It was a whole different vibe. We saw it. Nothing got done about it because aspirations is the word I was looking for when I was talking about politicians. So that's part of their aspirations. So again, I can't step into that. I can't step into that venue. I can't step into that, right? Because I'm a politician. I can't go into that. Because that's not what the agenda is. Right now, the agenda is we trying to get housing for our senior members. Well, we've been trying to do that. How many laborers do we have in our cities? I'm talking about laborers. I'm not talking about people who know how. I'm talking about laborers. How many laborers? How many laborers live on your block? Right? How many people have the ability to build? They can do this and they can do that. They can fix cars and all this other kind of stuff. Do you see how the community can be helped? You'd rather have a garage that has little to no business just sit there, right? Instead of putting your skills to use and helping somebody else. You'd rather sit there and do nothing. You'd rather sit there and let that property start looking like an eyesore. And eventually it becomes so deteriorated that it just sat there. Now it's nothing. It never... because it didn't serve anything but other than yourself. Like, how much would it really cost you to help Miss Mary get her car back up and running? Well, Miss Mary ain't got no money. Miss Mary gets Social Security. You know what Social Security is? It's people eating cat food. How many times did you just offer to help do this or to help do that without intention? How many times? I'm just asking the question. Because we keep pointing fingers, we keep blaming, but there's so many things that so many of us are skilled to do, have the ability to do, and we don't do it to help anybody else. Oh, you thought the show was about gratitude, and you were wondering when I was going to get to that. I've been talking about it the whole show. I've been talking about it the entire show. See, you can't say that you're grateful for something and you don't nurture it. You don't care for it, whether it's a person, whether it's a place, whether it's a thing, it doesn't matter. Some of y'all give more love to a car than you give to your own mother or father. Because you're in disagreement about decisions they made. And here you're faced with having to make your own decisions. Now you quiet. So quiet that you can hear a mouse piss on cotton. Because now you're faced with the realities of life and see what the struggle of life really is. Nothing easy about living life. But now you have nothing to say. Because you see how difficult life is. And it gets more and more difficult when you're not grateful, when you're dissatisfied with everything, when you complain about everything, when you do nothing and complain. I've seen so many people who have so much to say, never been involved with anything at any community level, never took anybody under their wing and mentored somebody without having to be part of a program, never took responsibility, said, hey, I'm going to take the seniors on the block, to go get their groceries. Never did any of those things, but always have something to say. It's usually the ones with the loudest damn voices that ain't doing a damn thing. Yeah. Yeah. The loudest voice, the one who always got all that old oorah stuff, right? And don't even have the oorah fortitude or the hoorah stuff, and don't really have the hoorah fortitude. Just going along. We're going to go do this. And then we have people who do that together, and then you even find those groups laden with arrogance. Laden with arrogance. I was at a function yesterday, and it was like really weird, man, because like a brother who been to my home, broke bread at my home with me, half-ass opened his mouth when I spoke to him, ignored me the whole time, just like he was avoiding me. And I'm like, I haven't even seen this dude in a while. But people think that you should do things for them because that's what it is that they want you to do, because that's what it is that they expect you to do, right? I don't live your life. You don't live mine. You're a grown-ass man. You walk around with an attitude or some negative vibe towards somebody. Right? Grown-ass man. You got some thoughts and feelings about it? That's fine. Have thoughts and feelings about it. I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. Don't mean it's going to matter. How you a grown-ass man? You worry about what another man does or doesn't do, or how you should be included or something. I don't know what the vibe was, but it was like, wow, like shit, I ain't never did nothing to do. And this is why I stay in my lane, right? Because so many people who appear to be vibing on that groove, right, ain't. Which affects everybody. Because if we're going to be men, be men. You got men doing social media stuff. Their platform is all about conflict and confrontation and just talking about other men. There's no growth in that. You're bringing other people on the show so you could, you're building your platform on what's desired by the viewer. Right? You're part of changing the culture as well. You want to do something, let's squash beefs. Right? Let's squash beefs. How about that? Do a show on squashing beefs. Bring brother so-and-so on, sister so-and-so. Bring these people on and say, listen, we need to, right? Be real about stuff. There's so much fraud out there. So I understand. What I'm saying to you is you got to take steps. I have taken steps throughout all of the years to create so many venues, to create so many forums where people can change their attitudes, ideas, and bring about a change of behaviors through a cognitive behavior approach. That's my interactions with people. Whether you see me in the office, whether you see me like you see me here now, I'm the same way all the time. I'm going to challenge and confront stuff. But it was just so troublesome. Like, I ain't did nothing to this dude. Why is the vibe like that? You're a grown ass man. Did I do something to offend you that I don't know about? Have a conversation. But to act like a bitch about it, that don't make sense. And I'm using that term because it don't make sense. You're a grown ass man. Like, fix stuff. Fix it. If something's wrong, fix it. Open your mouth. Be a man about it and say, hey, listen, I was bothered by this, or I thought and I heard and I don't know why, but this is where I'm at. Right? We can fix it. But we don't have this that goes on. Right? And the same thing happens in the communities. When it's time to confront the boys on the corner selling dope. Right? Whose corner is this? Let's go have a conversation with that person. Because it ain't gonna be a good outcome. I don't know why we keep like, dude, I don't care who you think you are. I don't mess with your money, but you messing with our lives. So we need to come to some kind of agreement here. We need to come to some kind of terms here. Right? Because no matter which way this goes, you drawing. Because my kids can't be out there. Because your people out there, you know what comes along with crap games. You know what comes along with all this. You putting my people at risk. So we got a problem. We got a problem. The streets don't run my damn house. But you fly solo. Because, nah, man, I ain't, because, what? And you think the streets ain't going to eat that up? Nah, we going to confront this. Bottom line. Don't tell me I need to respect the street. For what? I don't disrespect the street. But you can't come and disrespect my block. You can't come and disrespect where I live and think I should be okay with it because of whoever you think you are. That's not how it works. And that's why we're in the conditions that we're in today. Because the streets got messy. The streets got messy. And there was something behind that. Just like those communities were flooded with powder cocaine, the same way they got flooded with guns. The same exact thing. Same thing. Right? But when you start looking at gratitude, you look at how people care for their communities in other areas. Right? I can tell you how many different communities I've lived in, and I can show you, verbatim, those areas that were seen to be affluent communities. The attitudes suck. I've lived in some of the most affluent communities. Worst attitudes, worst behaviors because of the mindset that I'm above you as far as the social status is. I make $60,000 a year. You only make $24,000 a year, right? Because let's be real, it's not a whole lot of people in six-figure salaries. It's not. There's a whole lot of people struggling because they're living beyond their means because they're making themselves become a part of something that don't even accept them. Don't even accept you. They don't care nothing about you because they still think that they want up on you. Those are communities we live in, right? So all of these things tie into being ungrateful, not to another man. First and foremost, being grateful to God, right? Then if you're grateful, then you look at your parents, being grateful for the parents that you have. The mother carried you. The father contributed and is involved at another level. Your mother carried you. So first and foremost, it always should be tied to, the respect there. You're not grateful for that person. You struggle. Your life is not right. So you can't turn around and just, show appreciation. That's gratitude. When you're ungrateful, you're never going to have any good come to you. It's never going to come to you because you don't have the gratitude for it. You don't care. You think you did it on your own. You think you obtained it on your own. The idea of life is putting yourself in a position where if the opportunity is presented to you, right, you can respond to the call. You don't create the opportunity for yourself. You put yourself in alignment to receive whatever that blessing is that you requested to receive. But when you act selfishly, that's not coming. You're not going to get that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So you have to understand that it is your responsibility to clean up your act first. What are you grateful for? Think about it. What are you grateful for? How many times have you said that you are grateful for another day above ground? That's what I say every day. I'm grateful for another day above ground. When people ask me how I'm doing, I say to them another day above ground. I had a friend, Donald Kolak, who used to always say that. I would ask him. And then it hit me one day, what that actually meant. When you are grateful for your life, your existence, right? That's a start. But when you think that you should have certain things, when you think that somebody's supposed to do for you, somebody's supposed to give you this or give you that, just imagine spending your entire life thinking that somebody's supposed to do this for you, somebody's supposed to do that for you. Only thing a parent is supposed to do is feed, clothe, and house you as a child. That's it. Don't have to get you any preferred foods. We didn't get preferred foods. Whatever my mother bought is what the hell we ate. There weren't any preferred foods. You didn't eat, you didn't eat. That's on you. You got bought clothes and you went out and tore your clothes up. That's why you running around with tore clothes. That's why your sneakers is run down. Because that's what you do. Why am I going to keep buying you brand new sneakers? No, you'll get one pair of sneakers each school year. Those are the sneakers that you wear to school. You don't wear them to go play outside. You wear them to school, you come home, and you take them off. Plain and simple. Right? That's how we were taught coming up. Right? Now you get kids that get $200-$300 sneakers as early as 2 years old. Right? Kids wear their things to school. They play all in them. They come home. They play all in them. It took one time for me to get a brand new pair of kids that I wanted for the longest time. But I think about 70, 73, somewhere around 73, 74. Got me a pair of kids. My mother told me the same instruction. You come home from school, take them off, put on your play sneakers. Nope. I didn't do that. Came home, she saw my sneakers. I've been outside playing because I wanted everybody to see that I had some kids. That I didn't get these from Food Fair or from Penn Fruit or, one of my other stores where she just, and then you start looking at the whole mindset when you keep giving, you keep giving, you keep giving. And it's not just kids, it's anybody. You keep giving people without consequence. They're never going to be grateful to you. They're never going to be grateful. They're going to keep on feeling the same way, that they're deserving of something they didn't even earn. They didn't even earn. Many children today have no concept of what it means to earn anything because they keep being given anything. That's a conversation, that I've always had. No, don't get. Why are you giving them that? Why do you continue doing all of these things when they don't deserve it? You have to teach them what being a parent is supposed to look like. Anything outside of that, man, that's great. But we don't teach that today for our children. We give our children everything that they want. I don't do that. I ain't doing that. You want something, you earn it. Period. That's how I raised my older children. That's how my 3-year-old's going to be raised. I don't do that. You work for it. You earn it. Show why you deserve that. Right? My children learned like, with Dad, I want to get so and so. I got half, or I only got $50. Okay, but you came with something. Don't come with a damn excuse. Don't come with rationalization and justification. It doesn't work that way. Right? So you have to look at what you're giving, what you're getting, and why you're not giving what you should be giving, right? To establish a foundation of gratitude. Period. And that's with anything, with anyone. If you keep giving somebody over and over and over again, and they don't give anything, or they don't even learn to do it on their own, they're not going to learn to do it on their own until you start saying no on a regular basis and holding to it. What Oprah? What was it? Who was that? Whoopi Goldberg told dude like nothing will be right, something to that effect. Till you do right by me, nothing. It's the same premise. you're not going to get anything. You're going to struggle more than you need to struggle in life because of your lack of gratitude. Watch a grateful person and watch an ungrateful person and watch your behaviors. Watch how we get a happy meal and we take a few bites off the burger and throw it in the trash. That's not being grateful. It's not showing me any gratitude for the fact that I gave you my money that I worked for, that I struggled every morning getting up for, and go to work. You throw it the hell away because you don't like it. It wasn't hot enough. The pickles were too spicy. They were too pickly. Stuff like that. Nah, that's ungrateful. It's ungrateful. Just look at our streets. Look at how many half sodas you see. That's not grateful. I eat everything on my plate. Why? Because I was taught that gratitude, right, as a child. Eat all of your food before you get your juice. Okay. All right. Grandma, Aunt D, Uncle Frank, Mom, whatever. You get this. I ate everything on my plate because I wanted that juice. Now we give them the juice. They don't want to eat the food. And we're throwing food out. You see how the tides change? That's what has happened in our communities. It's the same thing that's happened in our communities. Right? And we don't question ourselves. We question everything and everybody around us about why they don't do certain things. Why shouldn't it? Everything, no matter what it is. The job tell you you got to wear a collared shirt to work. Why the hell did you come to work with a sweater on? Is that a collar? No. But you want to complain, why don't they let me do this? Why don't the job told you you have to wear a collared shirt? Why are you complaining? Because you think you're deserving of something that you're not deserving of. You think you could just violate anybody in any capacity and not have consequences. People used to value their communities. We used to come outside and wash down the steps, cut the grass, pick up the trash on the outside of our fence because it affects what our home looks like. You see the pictures from back in the 20s and the 30s, and and you look at it and you see people. We had those marble steps, those granite steps, and people will come down and wash them down with soap and water and sit on a little stoop, and that's where everybody showed up at, sitting on a stoop in the projects in Wilson Park up north. Right, we sat on the steps. You could come out on an evening, a summer evening, at about 5-6 o'clock, and you can see everybody sitting on their steps. Everybody sitting out on the steps. Why did that change? Right? We used to make sure the little field in front of our homes was cut too. The project used to the housing authority used to make sure that happened. Then that started changing. Then we stopped taking responsibility. They gave us less grass. You go down to the project now, you have less grass. Right? We don't take care of nothing. But you want to get mad because Donald Trump says he doesn't want black people. He said he don't want black people living in his properties. How many of y'all want some of us living in your property? How many of y'all see what happens when you move some of us in? Huh? The attitudes of we have the right to act foolish. We have the right to play our music this loud. We have the right. It's always we have the right. We have the right to be disrespectful towards one another without provocation. We have the right to do that. I have the right to be loud. Everywhere. Everywhere I've ever been. I wouldn't say my preference would be to have non-blacks, but that's anybody's preference. But why label somebody as being something that they're not simply because of that preference? It's a preference. What's the issue? Right? But that's not how we're living today. Everything is a complaint. Everything is a matter of I want to have the privilege to be able to violate the law We drive our cars down the street like we're sitting in our living rooms, just chilling. 45-mile-an-hour zone. You driving 22 miles an hour. Yo, what's up? What's up? What you blowing your horn for? What? Go around me. It's a single lane. I can't go around you. Back in the seat. Yo, what's up? Shit. Come on, man. That's what we do. This overall attitude from black folks that we can just disrespect each other. And we supposed to be okay with it. And that's why we can't be brothers to brothers, sisters to sisters, right? Because of that, because of all this whole swag, this attitude. We're not looking at things from a perspective of, you know, the betterment of self, the betterment of relationships. You know, it just doesn't make sense. But it's gratitude. You have to teach gratitude. You have to teach that in your home. All this excuses about, well, I was never taught this. You know right from wrong. Right? There's a template for being successful in life. There's a template. Learning how to speak. Learning how to write. Learning to have manners for other people, especially the senior members of the community. I'm part of the community now. I'm a senior, right? We don't have that. I was at an event yesterday, and there was the patriarch and the matriarch sitting at the table. We've lost sight of what that represents in the family. We so busy talking about we were descendants of slaves. You got a patriarch and the matriarch of the family, right? And they should be given that seat. They should be given that level of respect for that position in the family. We don't have it's no respect, right? Children today make you want to grab them up. But then they have this system that says, nah, you can't do that, and we ain't going to help you either, but you just got to let them do what they do. Right? Because then you'll be locked up for, well, you left a mark on the arm. You left a mark on the face. Now we're going to lock you up. This is not a solution man does not give any kind of solution-oriented structure to anything. Everything is always destroyed more. That's not a failed system, folks, that you're looking at. It's what this system is designed to do. Chaos theory. Look it up. That's how this system has been put together, using the theory of chaos, laden with other kind of traumatic things in terms of what you again, scientists. You have scientists, for real. Archaeologists, psychiatrists, psychologists, paleontologists, whatever. All these people are a part of the system. It's intentional. It's intentional. What we experience here in man's world, you can call it anything you want to call it. We're gods living in a man's world. We're created in his image, in his likeness. We can create boys and girls, right? We can create life. We can take life. We're living in a man's world. Lord of the worlds, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we beseech, and thine aid do we seek for help. Lord of the worlds. What we live in is man's. Man created all of this. We were created by God. We are his creations. The land, the seas, all of that are his creations. Man can't do that. Man can't create without. having certain things scientifically created. His brilliance is his gift from God. He chose to use it in man's world in a way that he's chosen to do as such. That's the stuff you got to look at, man. But see, we're not looking at our humanity. We are looking at what man has done and what man does and what man dictates. No, it's about what God dictates. Yeah. That's the part that you're missing. That part. So we sit down at Thanksgiving dinner. Primarily, it's the only time when thanks are being given. We sit down at Thanksgiving dinner. We have these conversations about. I'm thankful for my mom. I'm thankful for my dad. I'm thankful Uncle Johnny came here. You know, listen. Why? Why? Right? You're so thankful for these people, yet and still the information they've given you, right, has gone unaddressed throughout your life. I remember what he told me. This is what I've done as a result of him telling me this. This is what I just spoke to my Uncle Ray the other day, and him and I were talking. And I was telling him how thankful I am for the things that I learned from you, because I've known Ray since I was a child. I was like, I guess 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there, maybe a little later, but I felt like it. But anyway, I was telling him how I learned so much from him, because he would always take, a few moments when he came through, right, to holler at me. My Uncle John too. These are both influential people in my life. But I was telling my Uncle Ray how, like, he introduced me to certain things like that I would have never liked, and these things I kept, and opportunities that I was able to, again, preparedness. I was prepared, to be able to work in these venues, right? Because of conditioning that I had of how to speak to people, my penmanship and things of that nature, showing respect, right? Always being respectful to people, right? I'm still that way today. I can despise everything about you, but you won't know it. You won't know it. I don't need to tell you. I don't need to show you that. I need to still be respectful towards you. I don't need to become you because I don't care for you. I don't waste my energy with you unless I have to. There's a difference. But I'm saying all this to say that, it's time to change that. It's time to stop doing this stuff, man. It's time. Stop supporting these narratives, man. Stop supporting these platforms. That's all they reek of. You got to stop supporting them. This thing has gotten bigger and bigger and will continue to grow with this kind of access to everyone's household. That's part of shutting this down. Stop giving them platforms, because it's going to be given to them. We see some people, we ask, well, how the hell y'all even get a show? Y'all don't even make any sense. Y'all seem to be part of the same damn culture of the streets. Y'all still part of the same culture. The music industry, the entertainment industry, you're part of that same culture. This is why these permissions are given, for people to be able to just go ahead and keep jabbing and jabbing and jabbing and reminding you how much the white man hates you, how much he don't want you in America, how he is slave to black people. We want justice, jobs, equality. Excuse me. It's sickening. But when you look at gratitude, it's always a matter of being thankful. I was a practicer of religion for from 1988 till about about 4 years ago. I guess it's been now. I've decided that I'm just going to live a spiritual life because of even the divide within the religion. It's already a lot of unanswered questions. But just in overall my experience with the members and what I see in terms of membership and what that looks like, like you got to do this. And God ain't never said that. Ain't nowhere that said anything about you have to do this in this way. There's a benefit to congregational gatherings because obviously it's strength in numbers. But just because you have numbers doesn't mean that you have strength. It just doesn't. Doesn't mean that you have strength because you have numbers. And I think we've seen that throughout the years, different organizations that rose to the position of recognition that they had within particular communities, only to be divided by a very member of that entity. So it's not true. I don't trust anybody. I'll tell you right now to your face, I don't trust anybody. I don't care what it is and who it is that you think that you are to me, that I've told you that you are to me. I don't trust anyone because people, man, will always be about self. I didn't exclude myself from that. I'm simply telling you that, I'm not going to be the one who is going to side with you because we are associated. I'm not going to be the one to sit there and pacify something because, it teeters on whether you and I are still going to have a relationship. And I can tell you for those situations where I didn't side with somebody's beliefs, we don't have a stronger relationship. And I'm not talking about being harsh and none of that towards people. But don't expect for me to jump on this bandwagon because that's what you choose to do. I don't entertain that thinking. Any individual who violates me, I don't care what the color of their skin is. I don't care what their sexual identity is. I don't care. I don't care about any of those discriminatory things. I love everybody. And if you know me, you would know that because I interact with anybody. I don't care about any of those. Hey, what's going on? I always get stranger danger. I just talk to people. I grew up in a mixed community. I grew up in Wilson Park Project in South Philadelphia. When I moved out there, most of the houses had whites living in them prior to me getting there. I had a whole bunch of little white friends. I'm not that black guy who'll say, well, I do have a friend that's white because I've had a few throughout my lifetime and still do. So I'm not that guy who say, well, I do have one white friend, so I do not. No, my mother didn't teach us that. My grandparents didn't teach us that. My grandparents didn't teach us that. That wasn't the conversation in the house. Hate the white man. We didn't have that conversation in my grandparents' house. My grandparents. Think. My grandparents didn't have that kind of conversation. My mother didn't have that kind of conversation. Does that mean we were unlearned about the conditions that blacks were subjected to during the spiritual time? Absolutely not. But they didn't harp on those things as a means of keeping us in the same position. They always taught me to do better. They always showed me how to do better. We didn't have those kind of conversations in my home. We didn't have that kind of conversation in my and my Aunt Dee and Uncle Frank. We didn't have those conversations. I was born in the 60s. Damn it, don't tell me that I don't know anything because that's what you want to believe. That's not life's experience. That's somebody regurgitating stuff and giving it to you and you making it yours. When I started living the street life, when I went out there selling drugs and using drugs and all I was doing, that was me. When I dropped out of high school and I had much to go and I could have graduated from high school, that was me. I got my high school diploma when I was 34, when I could have got it when I was 18. That was me. That had nothing to do with racism. That was me. I'm the one who got a master's degree when he was the 2005, when I could have probably had a doctorate. That was me. That wasn't no system. Didn't nobody hold me down. Didn't nobody keep me from doing it. I didn't get messaged about I could only be a maintenance man. That's a job. But I wasn't getting those messages from my teachers, and most of my teachers were white. I didn't get those messages. I got people younger than me talking about that's the messages they got from school. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You ain't have no white teachers telling you weren't going to be nothing. You're repeating what somebody else told you because it sounds good, because you're riding on a narrative. You're riding on a narrative. How's it I'm 64 years old, then went through the school system, and I never had a white teacher tell me that in any of the schools that I've been to? None of my siblings talked about having that told to them. Where did it come from? It's a narrative, man. And even if it did at some point in time happen, okay. We got poor attitude people. We got bad people in life. It's not related to a race. Some people are just knuckleheads. Where did this come from? I never had any of that said to me. Have I had bad encounters with police? Yeah. And guess who was the instigator? Yeah. I've not had that many. When we was coming up in a project, we always encountered the police in Wilson Park Project. That's all they did. We just drove around and messed with the Negroes. And then you had the mayor, Frank L. Rizzo, you know. But, you know, we hear a whole lot of things, and I still hear a whole lot of things that I know nothing about. And I have been around. I have lived in many places. I have done many things where my behind should have gone to prison, right? But there's a reason why I am 64, about to embark upon 65. You know, I ain't been the most righteous person. But once you recognize, you get to a point in life, you have to begin to recognize you ain't in charge of nothing. Even as a 30-year clinician, I don't change anybody's life. I give you the information, you use it, you found a success with the information. I didn't change your life. Right? You listened. You heard what I said. Maybe I just have the ability to deliver information to you that was going to, help. But you could have heard the same thing from somebody else. We all have gifts, but I don't have the power to change anybody's life. I'm a facilitator of change, and that's different. But if I'm not focusing on changing, my own condition, it's just a matter of time before I'm not of help. I'm not the worthy servant anymore. So I'm always striving to be the worthy servant. That's what I'm always striving to be, the worthy servant, right? So I live to die, right? Yeah, I live to die. I'm going to die. I'm putting myself in alignment to be a recipient of paradise. You have to put yourself in alignment for that. You have to put yourself in the position like everything else in life. You can't be rewarded with goodness all the time. right? You have to earn it. You have to work for it. You know, you can do great and wonderful things for your kids, but they also got to earn part of that too. You know, it's the same way. We give honor and praise to the Creator. What are we rewarded with? You go through pain and suffering and you blame God. What is scripted is scripted. What it is. Our time is just what it is. It's not what man determines as being. Excuse me. I'm sorry, y'all. Man doesn't determine how long you're here. And you don't even know what your purpose is. So you could have just been brought here by God's grace and mercy, by his blessing for your parents, but not for your parents. Sound like a familiar story? That your child, although blessed to the both of you, really had another purpose outside of the two of you? That your child actually brought something to somebody else's life, to a community, to another group of people, right? You ever think about that? How else do I reach this group? How else do I reach these people? Unless I bless the birth of this child who will be. That sound familiar? Nah, you can't be reading scripture then. You can't be. A child was born. A child who would later be an image of greatness to the world. What about you? Have you recognized your greatness? You can't recognize your greatness as long as you are succumbing to man's world. Remember, we're gods in a man's world. The Lord of the worlds is God himself. So when it is said by the Muslim, there's no God worthy of worshiping except God himself. Understand what that means. You have to increase your wisdom about your existence in order to understand what man has done and will continue to do, all in the name of flexing. Think about it. Just think about it for a minute. You know, it's a terrible thing. You know, when you believe that what you're doing is the right thing, only to find that it's not the right thing. It's a terrible thing to believe that anything in today's world is going to mean you any good. It's work to be done here. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of soldiers, right? We're spirits before anything else. Where does that spirit come from? How did you get that spirit? What is that burst that happens when the sperm cell enters the egg? That spark. Is that not the spirit? Is that not the spirit? At what point does the spirit enter? That's it. Just think about it for a minute. Now, this spirit is going to go on a human journey because the human is responsible to connect with its spirit. But we take off running on mankind's conditioning. So if you're going to teach your child any religion, don't just teach your child dogma, expectations of man. Teach your child to dissect the information and let them learn. Don't just tell me I need to believe in Muhammad. I need to believe in Jesus. I need to believe in Abraham. I need to. Why? Show it to me. Show me why. What was different about Abraham than Adam, than Lot, Noah? Stop giving the same stories. Every time I hear references made, I always hear the same references made to the same scripture. Always the same scripture, always the same surah. But if you go into the Quran, it tells you second surah. I forget which ayahs, but it's early on in the second. I want to say 3 through 5, somewhere in there. But it says very clearly, in it is guidance. It does not say in it is truths, in it is forever related. It does. In it is guidance. You buy a new television, what is in the box? Instructions. Instructions. It may also give you instructions for not just that unit you have, but other units, other languages. In it is guidance. So you have the Arabic language, you have the English language in Quran. You start reading stuff and you look at words and you look at periods when words were supposed to have come into play. There are words in it that weren't at that time. So you have to learn Arabic. You have to read the dictionary. You see that this one word has so many meanings, has so many tenses. Some are even nouns. Yeah. Some are verbs. The same words when used in combination with. So there's a lot of interpretation that goes there. But what I'm saying to you is, don't tell your child, be this and be that and come and go to this place with us on these scheduled days, and that makes you such, because that's not. If you're not studying, if people are not standing out as examples, right? I'm saying to you, a person who loves God is not sitting there, oh, yes, and we have, no, they don't have this. That's, no. We keep getting that image that that's what you're supposed to look like. That's how you're supposed to talk. No. No. You can be hoodish and still be respectful, still be a lover of God, and still adhere to the very principles and practices in the guidance that you were given. That doesn't mean that you're going to be, some when you walk into a room. And that's what impression a lot of people get, that you're supposed to act in a particular way and lose sight of their own humanity. That ain't what it tells you. But you read for yourself. You get an understanding of your own humanity. And most people are not even in touch with their own humanity. Gratitude. It's all about gratitude. It's all about, right, I have this. And but by the grace of God, there could be I. Think about it. You show gratitude in every capacity you possibly can, being thankful to God for everything that you get in the course of a moment. Not a day, in a moment. I could just die right here in the middle of the show, just have a massive heart attack. I'm not afraid to talk about death, but a lot of people are afraid to talk about death. How can you talk about life then? Because all you're focusing on is living. All you're focusing on is like what I can get out of this day. Give me. I focus on what I can give in the course of the day. What can I achieve in the course of the day? What, legacy. What can I leave behind for others, for my family? Messages that can be left behind for other people to maybe one day see, and one day, the Severely Educational Station on YouTube blows up as far as visits and not likes, but just visits. But because everybody's not gonna like what I have to say. That's just a reality. Some people will watch my videos and just like, I ain't watching this no more, man. Because it shakes the damn truth out of you. It shakes the truth out of you. And you know what? I didn't even get to the damn article. Yeah. I didn't even get to the article today. And the article was on Psychology Today, which is my favorite site. 7 scientifically proven benefits of gratitude. Last show that we did, I think we stopped at number 2 because we talked about. So the first one was gratitude opens the door to more relationships. Not only does saying thank you constitute good manners, which we talked about, part of the grooming process. Many of us don't even have good manners. Drive up to the window. Hello, can I help you? What? Well, can you drive up to the next window, please? I can't hear you. You're not even grateful for having a job. Somebody else wants that job. You're able to get your nails done, hair done. You're able to pay your phone bill. You're able to pay your car note, whatever it is. But you talk to people around you like they owe you something. I don't owe you nothing. Who are you talking to? But we stay and we deal with it because we want that food. Shit, I'm going somewhere else. Talk to me like that. I ain't do nothing to you. Okay. Number 2, gratitude improves physical health. Grateful people experience fewer aches and pains and report feeling healthier than other people, according to a 2012 study published in Personality and Individual Differences. Yeah. If you're grateful, if you act with gratitude, it improves your physical health. But when you have this attitude of indifference, intolerance, expectation, people doing stuff for you, this, that, and the other, you suffer a lot. And don't even want to take a look at it. Number 3, gratitude improves psychological health. Gratitude reduces a multitude of toxic emotions, from envy and resentment to frustration and regret. Listen to what I'm saying, right? Not like the person, not like what they do. Not liking others has you not liking you. Yeah, that's the lyrics to one of my songs. Yeah. In Man's Bed. Yeah, I'm going to play that for you as we wrap up the show. Number 4, gratitude enhances sympathy and reduces aggression. Grateful people are more likely to behave in a pro-social manner, even when others behave less kindly, according to a 2012 study by the University of Kentucky. Right? Study participants who ranked higher on gratitude scales were less likely to retaliate against others, even when given negative feedback. They experienced more sensitivity and empathy toward other people and a decreased desire to seek revenge. Number 5, grateful people sleep better. Writing in a gratitude journal improves sleep. This was according to a 2011 study that was published in Applied Psychology, Health and Well-Being. Spend just 15 minutes jotting down a few grateful sentiments before bed, and you may sleep better and longer. Yeah, try it. Number 6, gratitude improves self-esteem. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Applied Sports Psychology found that gratitude increased athletes' self-esteem, an essential component of optimal performance. When I feel good about myself, I'm going to perform optimally. Everything I'm going to be running on all cylinders. All cylinders. I don't have that stuff lingering in me, of why, I think I should have this. I think I should have been in first place, this, that, and the other. No. I think I should have got this mark on my report card. No. You got what you got. Keep moving, right? It's like just looking at these kind of things. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better. That's that optimal performance. Okay. We make first place so significant. How about just finishing the damn race, right? Gratitude. I'm grateful that I was able to run in this race. Some people dropped out. Some people couldn't run because of injury. Everybody can't run in this race. Rather than becoming resentful toward people who have more money. So it's talking about here. So this is what they were talking about here in the optimal performance. They were focused on that, better in self-esteem. Other studies have shown that gratitude reduces social comparisons. Listen to this. Gratitude, right, reduces social comparisons. I don't like compare myself to other people. Music. I do music. I don't care what somebody else is doing. Think about how many artists' music stands out above anybody else's music. Their style is so different, right? Think about it. Think about how successful their careers were. Think about it. They're not comparing themselves to others. I don't compare myself to others. I'm great as what I do as a clinician. It's all in here. I'm saturated with stuff. I don't need to write stuff down. I can have a conversation with you about humanity, behavior stuff, solutions to those behavioral problems. I don't have to. I'm great at what I do. So I don't compare myself to any others. That's great. I listen to people who have, who do similar, and I learn from them, and I read Psychology Today all the time. A major factor in reduced self-esteem, grateful people are able to appreciate, here it is, grateful people are able to appreciate other people's accomplishments. And that's what I was saying. I appreciate when other people, practice the same craft I do, whether it's music, whether it's video, whether it's, listen, I have appreciation for that. Again, reading Psychology Today on a regular basis, right, exposes me to the thinking of others, right? Other clinicians, psychiatrists, psychologists, right? It enhances it. It shows me, yeah, you on the right track. It shows me, yeah, well, add some of this and take a look at this. And I do it. When I do these shows, I don't like pre-study articles. I look at it. I kind of like that. Let's talk about that today. And I'm learning too. I'm having aha moments with you, right? Because I appreciate what others know. I don't know every damn thing. Just because I've been doing it 30 years doesn't mean I know everything. I don't. Right? Number 7, gratitude increases mental strength. Right? For years, research has shown gratitude not only reduces stress, but it may also play a major role in overcoming trauma. I do a lot of in trauma-informed care, understanding what trauma-informed care looks like, But trauma-informed care is so significant to a person getting better, especially mentally improving, right? Because every aspect of the person's being is impacted by trauma, right? And you have to begin to look at that. So you have to acknowledge that every area was impacted in my life by this traumatic incident, by this traumatic event, right? It was an event that happened. I need to be able to process the event, looking at what happened specifically, looking at the values and beliefs connected to that event, then looking at the consequences of the beliefs that I have about the event, because that's what happens. That's how you work through trauma. That's a cognitive behavior treatment approach, a cognitive behavior therapy approach. What was the antecedent, the activating event? My father was murdered. I'm using myself as an example. My father was murdered, right? What were the values and the beliefs, about, my father and everything, and looking at the relationship we had, at what point in time we had the relationship, how thankful I was that I pursued having a relationship with my father. I was seeing my father every day up until the day he was murdered. How does that play out? What did the beliefs and values surrounding that of not being able to see him anymore? What did that take away? What did they give me? Was there gratitude in there for the time that I did have with him? Was there gratitude? You have to look at all these things, and then what are the consequences of this belief? Because when you look at the beliefs, like the more positive that you are in terms of a belief about things, because what I believe about death, there was a purpose. It was fulfilled. My father and I began to have a good relationship. I go to sleep at night with that. It would be different if I hadn't formed that relationship. Then I have to deal with shame, guilt, embarrassment, regret, and all those things, because now he's deceased. But I had that opportunity. So you have to look at all these things. So that's what it's talking about in mental strength, being able to walk through things and, realize that this is a part of what happens. Yes, I'm going to have some level of mourning, but he's not gone. He's not gone. Did you see his spirit before? You saw his spirit presented through a human vessel, right? But I'm not a spirit. I'm a human vessel. Therefore, you didn't, right? When he wasn't there, you felt him. I ain't seen that in a while. Conscious, unconscious, subconscious all act in the same instance. Simultaneously, they're happening. It's a whole nother show. The last thing we heard, a 2006 study published in Behavior Research and Therapy found that Vietnam War veterans with higher levels of gratitude experienced lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder. A 2003 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that gratitude was a major contributor to resilience following the terrorist attacks on 9/11. Recognizing all that you have to be thankful for, even during the worst times, fosters resilience. And the article wraps up with, we all have the ability and opportunity to cultivate gratitude rather than complain about things, rather than complain about the things you think you deserve. Take a few moments to focus on all that you have. Developing an attitude of gratitude is one of the simplest ways to improve your satisfaction with life. See, in order for us to bring about change with what's happening in these a lot of these cities, you have to be addressing this. You have to have venues, forums that allow for discussion about what it is that I'm experiencing living in this community with all this violence coming in. You got to hear from our youth. I didn't want to carry no gun when I was 13, 14 years old, right? I didn't want to carry no knife when I was 13, 14 years old, 12 years old. But who was protecting me in the street? My mother wasn't with me on the street. What was she going to do? She was going to go what? Go step to people and, what? I got to defend myself. I got to be out in these streets. Who's going to protect me? Right? I had old heads coming up. Now they call OGs. No, that's an old head. Old head. Whole old head being these were the ones who know they set the tone for selling and or using drugs or for other things, but they were also the ones who were telling me the whole time, don't you mess with this. You don't mess with this heroin. You mess with this heroin, I'm gonna whoop you behind. Right? I give you the wine, give you the weed. Don't you mess with this heroin. Right? Those kind of messages we got. We weren't encouraged to go out there and do the wrong things. I would sit there with the winos. They would tell me to sit right there. Because they knew they knew what was going to happen. I was going to be out. And they always made sure I was good. I sit there, chill with them, talk. They teach me some things. I learn some things. I watch some things. Right? Take a couple squigs or some Boone's Farm, Annie Green Springs, MD20, whatever it was, night training. Y'all know, right? But that's what that's what an old head is. It's not an older person. It's an old head. You don't get branded as being an old head, right? Unless you're making a contribution to the young boys. This OG stuff, nah. Come on. Gangster. Everybody want to be a gangster. Old head, I'll accept that. OG, nah, I'm not an OG. Let me give you the difference. Old head means a person who is wise. Don't mean that I'm smarter than anybody. It means I have some wisdom, right? That's who I consider my old head, not somebody who's older than me. All the dudes I was hanging with, my old heads. Boo, my man Boo, my old head. That was my old head. He always watched out for me, right? We was always together. He looked out. He made sure I was good. That's an old head. He brought me in his crib to get some shut eye when I was on the street. You know, mom wouldn't let me in because I came in after curfew. He made sure if I was out, he'd take me to his crib, you know, even just sit at the table, put my head down, get some shut eye while his people upstairs sleep. That's old head. We found a gun one day in his yard. He heard the shots, he heard the cops running, and saw the gun tossed right out there, got the gun, showed it to me. It's like, yeah, we're gonna get that, we'll keep that. Nah, we ain't we get rid of this thing, man. Like, nah, we need to keep that, man, just in case. Nah, we can get rid of that. He got rid of it, sold it, you know, got a few dollars. Shit took me to get a hoagie. You know, we got some, you know, beer. I always got a quart of beer. Boo always had some beer. Every time you saw walk with a quart of beer, right? That's old head. OGs. Somebody who been in prison, involved in. I ain't none of that. Ain't none of that. Right? But these are kind of things that you got to look at. Hey, listen, we are at the hour. It has been great, as always, to have you guys here online. Wow. Listen, I'm thankful. I'm grateful for you guys, man. When I came over to TikTok, a lot of support, a lot of people, you know, watching the show. And it's been ongoing ever since then. Even when I come on and I do my music, you know, when I do my live recording studio sets, the Sabir Aleem educational station that's on YouTube. I've been doing this for 2006, 2000. Yeah, well, I started the nonprofit Daddies right here in 2006. And I've been on YouTube probably just as long doing the show. So there's about close to 400 videos that I've done throughout the years. Either it was Daddy's Right Here, Side Spot, The Wise View, whatever the title of the show. The format has always been the same, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm in it to win it, but I've always gotten you guys somehow to support what it is that I'm doing, man. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until I can't do it no more. But just know that I appreciate everything that you guys have supported in all the endeavors that I have embarked upon throughout all of these years. I'm your host, as always, Sabir Aleem. I'm going to play for you on my exit this song, and this comes from the album Line Up that was just released a couple of weeks ago. The title of this song is called Booked.
When it's a little tight, yeah.
Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.
I never sought religion. I'm not of the lost and found. I'm searching for the path to peace, finding man's guilt bound. Long ago touched by an angel, I was clutched. Early childhood trauma, the devil was running amok. I'm grateful to be blessed, far from highly favored. Just one of many who strives to serve and labor. Grown to be a man, so many examples. Most misled, regurgitating others like samples. Self-professed leaders, lots of opinions. Wanna be servants of God, mankind, minion, mankind's minion, mankind's minions, mankind's minion.
Fire album is written and produced and performed by yours truly.
The books make for great readings, filled with many stories, trials and tribulations of man and God in all his glory. Man made man religion, he was the follower of none. Many gods does man serve, know that they are but one. Narratives of divide, signs and symbols worn with pride. Toward those not equally yoked, that bias they cannot hide. The words, no doubt uplifting, providing man with guidance. So many unanswered questions, yet they all sit in silence. Room to be a man, so many examples. Most misled, regurgitating others like samples. Self-professed leaders, lots of opinions. Want to be servants of God, mankind, minions. Mankind's minions.
Book.
Our currency reads and God could trust. Man surely serves it well. It should really read, mankind go to hell. Materialism, power, and lust, things money can buy, won't get you into paradise. I'm sure many of men will try. Bearing his name on paper, another of man's delusions. Figured if you saw it there, religion would form the union. Room to be a man, so many examples. Most misled, regurgitating others like samples. Self-professed leaders, lots of opinions. Want to be servants of God, mankind, minions. Mankind, minions. Nobody's coming back to save us. We got in a man's world, made in this image and likeness, creators of boys and girls. Taking lives seems to be easier. Hell, you've taken your own. Give your life to a man, yet here you stand all alone. The next time you bow down in prayer, or raise your hands to the sky, ask not God for help, ask the God walking by. Ask the guy walking by. Room to be a man, so many examples. Most misled, regurgitated others like samples. Self-professed leaders, lots of opinions. Want to be servants of God, mankind, minions. Mankind's minions. Mankind's minions. mankind's minion.
Again, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Daddy's Right Here Live. I am your host, as always, Sabir Ali. Make sure you go to our e-commerce store, alimforyou.net. ALIM.com. Yeah, I changed it. ALIM, the number 4, you. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you check out all my music or your favorite music streaming platform. Just type in Sabir Ali. Line up.
To be a man, so many examples, most misled, regurgitating others like samples, self-professed leaders, lots of opinions, wanna be servants of God, mankind's minions, mankind's minions. Mankind's minions. Mankind's minions.
Stay tuned. We got pop-up shops coming. Yeah. Look for our pop-up shop. We'll be videotaping. Wow. All the way back. We'll be recording live when we do our first pop-up. Hope to see you there. We'll be starting out in Florida. West Palm Beach, Florida, Palm Beach County, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, we're right here. Stay tuned for us. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.